Hello, back again, day drinking. We are drinking single malt scotch today. It is whiskey season, although I will say I like the best whiskey weather the day we got back from Mexico. Beautiful, rainy day. And I just, for the first time in a long time, I was like, done with mezcal after a week of pure mezcal magic and ready for some single malt. So it's like just the tip of the iceberg coming right now, but it is a beautiful shiny tip provided to us by our friends in Pitlochry, the wonderful Signatory brand. We got the Bunnahabhain, the Ben Rinnes, two Ben Nevi, which is the unofficial plural of that, a sherried and a peated Bunnahabhain, and good old-fashioned Kalila, first fill bourbon barrel. These are indicative of the kind of quality that Signatory is bringing to the table. Often, you're spending a little bit more for Signatory. We've always spent more. And we get incredible deals from some of our direct importers, but, they don't always have first fill Ben Nevis, right? And, I had someone asking about the cost of the Kalila, perhaps are victims of our own success in the sense that, people see Thompson Brothers put out a cask of 13-year-old Kalila for $80 on the shelf or $90 on the shelf. I can't believe we're selling these. I can't believe they sit there for more than a day. I'm committed to keeping the prices low and making our margin and what have you. But, when it's a deal, it's a deal. And so $100 for a cask strength, incredible single barrel of Kalila first fill bourbon is a pretty good deal considering the rest of the market these days. We're often paying $120+ for, second tier hogsheads of whatever, Tinanich, from various independent bottlers. I know you guys want to know, we did a giveaway of Toasted Barrel. I had 12 wonderful bottles to give away. And I have the names. I'll read them for you. Corey S., Joseph S., J.M., Simon G., Bruce W., good old Bruce, How L., Brian W., Ben H., Jonathan T., Eric M., and there was one more here, David K. Congratulations. You are the winners of a chance to buy a bottle of Michter's Toasted. Fabulous stuff. Diving straight in, Ben Rinnes. Love this distillery. Such a beautiful little hidden distillery on the western, eastern edge of Ben Rinnes. Not far at all from Ben Rinnes, the mountain, not the distillery, obviously. Not far at all from the Glenfarclas distillery, just over the road from Dalhuin. I had a really fun experience when we were there the first time. It's just not open to the public, and sometimes dealing with the Diageo corporate thing is less easy than you'd hope, and we ended up just kind of driving up and walking into the manager's cottage, more or less, and there's a gentleman sitting there manning the phones and kind of on a phone call, and we sat there for a good 10-15 minutes before he hung up and acknowledged us, and we let him know, hey, we're big fans of the distillery, we'd love to walk through, we're not fans were professionals, blah, 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 hoping that they would go for it. And the guy said, one moment. He picks up the phone. He calls someone, I'm not sure who, I guess the distillery manager. And he mumbles a couple things to the phone. He goes, hey, are you boys German? And I said, no, we're American. And he's all right, come on down. So maybe they were expecting some German people later, but we snuck in on the Germans' appointment. Anyway, it's a beautiful old distillery, still with the worm tubs. They used to do like almost a Mortlock style, ridiculous triple-ish distillation, and it's lovely. So in 2007, they moved to a more traditional double distillation. They keep their four small spirit stills, and just separate the wash evenly between them, and no more goofball was, taking feints and reusing them and da-da-da-da. Anyway, the malt, they've changed it, but the malt is still awesome. Nose is absolutely pristine. One of the cleanest malts out there. Beautiful sort of orchard fruit. Some like rock candy and other things like that. Big vanilla note, no surprise there. This is, where's it gone? This is barrel number 304493. 13 years old, bottled at cask strength, unchill filtered, 58.5. Distilled on April the 15th of 2019 and bottled in June of this year, about 2 months, on the 14th of June. 190 bottles, first filled bourbon. I love Signatory's gotten very specific on their maturation notes, which I have to say is something that I don't get from all of my suppliers. But it's creamy, it's got vanilla, it's got a lot of orchard, thinking pear, apple, some kind of quincy notes. Ooh, yes, it's freaking so vibrant, crystalline, quite crunchy and yellow fruited. That's tough to spit out. This is an aperitif malt, of course. Add a little bit of water and see what happens. Some nice cold spring water. Actually, this is Kirkland brand purified water, but I recommend mineral water. Anyway, okay, now a little bit of nougaty, slight kind of almond, almost frosting character, some very sweet, sugary notes. This is absolutely crushable. It's a bit dangerous. I like to do this sometimes with these lighter malts. Just clear it up, get it down to, what blenders are called nosing strength sometimes. Oh yeah, now I'm going quite like Williams Perry. Little hints of almond butter. Still retains incredible richness even at that very low proof. That's a very, very good whiskey. Quite a fun malt. Next, we're going to go through a host of heavily sherried young whiskeys. The first two from the wonderful Ben Nevis Distillery. This first one is cask number 276. That's 2014, not an old whiskey. Second fill sherry, but beautiful color. You can see that gorgeous hue. I'm gonna side by side this with the next cask. Signatory does this at 59.6. So these are cask strength again. I gotta adjust the proofs online; they're not accurate. 7 years old. This is distilled on the 8th of December, 2014, and bottled the same day. Signatory, I have to say, these guys, when we made our selections, they cranked these barrels out of there. This one was short. This was a short barrel. We were expecting almost 600 bottles. The full cask outturned only 378. The next whiskey, Ben Nevis, This is such a special distillery. Nobody really can appreciate how lucky we are to have these, because they've officially announced, according to some of my suppliers, that they will not be supplying any filling contracts or blending, selling any stock to blenders. So it's become quite a commodity. This is barrel 9, 699 bottles. That's a full butt. That's one big full first fill sherry butt. Distilled on the 17th of October. Ooh, 10 days after my kid's birthday. I'm sorry, 7 days after my kid's birthday. 8 years old. Again, bottled on the 14th of June. They were very busy on the 14th. You can see first fill versus second fill. I mean, that second fill is pretty dark, really, for being a year younger. And it's a fun little side-by-side. I mean, of course, I want everybody to buy all these whiskeys. But if you're going to have to go heavy on Ben Nevis, I would say try one of each. Wow, big sherry nose on both of them. This, of course, the second fill has a little bit more of that Ben Nevis funk. It's a funky malt in a good way. Sometimes call it sulfury. Just the spirit itself, there's a tiny bit of sulfur note to it. For me, it's a good thing. Not everybody's gonna like it. The second fill definitely has a little bit of that flinty character. I don't think it's gonna upset anybody unless you're extremely sensitive to it. Gorgeous nose. Here we're on the dried apricots. Some lovely kind of almost licoricey, kind of herbal character to it. Big sherry note. Big sherry note still on the palate, even on the second fill. I don't think it overpowers the spirit. Here we're really on the sweet fruit, almost like PX-y, kind of raisinity fruit here. Much more sweetness on the nose. Less of that funk. None of the sulfur. Oh, wow. That's pure, just nutty, pecan richness. So textural and round. Those are great. Those are great. What a fun side-by-side. You know, they're not cheap. Ben Nevis is so sought after. I understand some people are going to be questioning whether it's worth that for a 7 or 8 year old whiskey, although, you know, nobody thinks twice about it when it's coming from Taiwan. Okay. These are the sorts of whiskey. I mean, this is unfair to the whiskeys to sit here and taste them over the course of 5 minutes, because they just need so much air to really get where they need to be. Okay, and adding water adds a little bit more of that flinty note, a little more of that funk character, if you like that Ben Nevis oily, tense, complex malt. Definitely jump on the younger of the two, the second fill. Ivan Marquez knows what's up. We all know that. We knew that already. That's not news. This is still a little bit of sleep compared to cast strength. Just needs air. Just not as boisterous and bold as it was at first. And that's not unusual sometimes, especially with younger whiskeys. You're adding water. It's going to need some time to open up. Oxygen does wonders. Starting to get some maple character. Lots of sweet raisin. I'm sorry, guys. I had this all set up so I could put the bottles right here. We're tasting Ben Nevis 7 and 8. This is like syrup, sweet, almost like a demerara sugar. It's a bit rummy. I love it. Lots of texture. Wow, it's oily as can be. Ben Nevis is quite an old school spirit. But this kind of has that modern sherry edge. If you like the KLWines, if you like the big, bold, extracted sherry, you're gonna like this. Oh, this is now starting to open up. I've added quite a bit of water. Still keeping its color. Oh, and that's really opening up now. Now this has a lot more of that tropical fruit, mango, dark cherries, cherry compote. Cacao, dark flavors, really balanced. Ooh, that loves water. Give these water and air, and I think you'll love them. I love to mix these together. Let's see what happens. Okay, that's a weird experiment. I'll let that sit for a little while. Next, so we've had the Ben Rinus, which was lovely, aperitif, great for the weather here. Now, summer malt, just so crushable, so drinkable, so delicious. The two Ben Nemesis, 7 and 8, second fill, first fill sherry, super high quality. Personally, I lean toward the second fill because I like feeling more of that funky spirit. But a lot of people are going to prefer the first fill because of the dense, dark sherry character. Both love water. Here is our fourth whiskey of the day, Bunnahabhain. This is a monster. Big barrel, 65.4, an absolute banger. This is barrel 900,780. 900780, 619 bottles, distilled on May the 28th. Bottled on that very busy day in June in Pitlochry. As a 10-year-old, first fill sherry. This is the darkest of all the whiskeys, even darker than the Ben Nevis. We've had some good luck with these young, heavily sherried Bunnahabhains. I can't believe they get rid of these. I mean, we can barely get anything from this distillery in this quality level. Okay, now this is a very different character. You definitely have a little bit more of that ocean tinge. There's no peat on this, but there's kind of a salinity behind that really balances the sherry nicely. Much more open and fruit forward, more red fruited, more jammy. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, it's just sherry bomb. Monster. Absolute, pure Oloroso. Super complex. Long lasting in the palate. There's a little more water than I wanted to add, but can't hurt it, really. These young sherried malts, I think, tend to like a lot of water. Oh, sorry, guys. This is the Bunnahabhain. Cask number 900680. 65.4% alcohol. First fill sherry. Okay, now this has gone full Oloroso nutty here. We are losing some of the fresh fruitiness, that bright red fruit, adding oxidative richness. That's a lot of sweetness there as well. That is a lovely little barrel. Wow. Oh, someone keeps calling me. Sorry, guy. It's Neville. If anybody knows Neville, that was Neville. Now on to the Peters. I'm going to start, just move right into the Bunnahabhain. Another Bunnahabhain. I like that putting both the name. I feel like our first one didn't have both the name on, and the distillery name and the spirit name. It's a Stoisha. They're extremely heavily peated, 45 parts per million, distilled on September the 27th, 2013. Barrel number 900276. Another hot one, 64.9. Just like the last cask we bought of this, dechar recharge. So taking a used barrel, shaving the inside, that sort of STR thing that Jim Swan made famous at Kavalan and then Kilchoman and a number of other places. I'm not sure that this would be his particular process, but one of the Coopers in Scotland recreating that style. Ooh, God. Bacon. Oh my God. Steamboat engine. Oh, it's ashy. It's ashy too. It's salted fish and pure Isla freaking monster here. So salty. I like a salty whiskey. Wow, pure green peat, earthy, some sweetness there, that kind of caramelized wood sort of thing, of course, from the rechar cask. It's quite dark, really, for a used barrel. That's a first fill bourbon. This is darker than that. Definitely has kind of an Ardbeggy note to it. There is a bit of that lemon oil, lanolin thing. That's really fun. A little bit of water here. You know, we have a couple of different versions of Bunnahabhain in the shop right now. This, that, and the other, but nothing quite compares to this. Okay, with a little bit of water, we're getting a little more mossiness now. Almost a seaweed, kelpy thing. Tiny hints of Band-Aid, but it's not like Lafroig per se. Now more sweetness, more lemon, peel. That loves water. It really opens. It builds the smoke. I love when you add water and the peat comes out more. It's less of the green peat and more of that clean, camphory kind of smoke. Wow, even more water here. Now sweetening again. Probably should have tried that after the Kalila. I can't imagine the Kalila is going to stand up to that monster. Long. God, even more water. It just stays stronger and stronger. That's going to need some air and some time to really open up properly. That's one of those whiskeys you're going to get to the last 2 or 3 drams and be like, oh no, these are the best 2 or 3 drams in the bottle. That always happens to me, but... Oh yeah, Kalila is way less. It's almost pretty here. Sweet. Bright. Citrus fruit. Honeysuckle. I'll put these backward. Sorry, this is the Kalila from Bunnahabhain, from Signatory. I had just tasted the Bunnahabhain Stoisha, 45 parts per million. Kalila is going to be considerably less. The big news on Isla is our friends at Diageo have informed their partners on the island that in many cases they won't be able to continue the contracts in the same quantities that they have previously. So that's going to mean some scrambling on the island. God, I love Kalila. Salty sea spray. Beautiful golden fruit. Citrus, golden citrus oils, and oh, that's just so ready to go. That is ready to roll. Medium bodied, very, very approachable at a cask strength of 55.8. First fill bourbon, quite a light color even for first fill. Gorgeous stuff. A little water, add some smoke, adds a little more salt. Starting to get kind of a yellow plummy note. Mirabelle's my favorite plum. Wow. And that's just killer. Kalila, totally worth the $100. The big upcharge for Signatory. You know, when they pick them, it's a shame we didn't get to go there this year because obviously it's so much more fun to go through the warehouse. But their sample selection was really spectacular, and I think the range, while above the cost of some of our DIs, because of course importer, distributor, we need to make a margin. Of course, it's going to be more expensive. Plus, Signatory already is a sort of ultra premium producer. Normally, these would go in the big fat squat bottles, you know, with the tins. For us, it's not worth the extra cost. We really care about what's in the bottle. I know some people like to have those. Though I can never pour properly out of those. I don't know. Someone's figured it out, but I always dribble all over the bottle. So that was a pretty good selection. Yeah, quiet chat. I didn't really answer any questions. I think this is going to be my thing going forward. I'm going to start it off, get to the tasting, finish the tasting, and then we can have some time together. I think this is a pretty dang good lineup. Come on, guys. Look at that. It's just the start of whiskey season. Whiskey season is about to blow up. Hunter Lang just dropped into the warehouse, my importer's warehouse. That's going to be 40 plus SKUs, I think. Shall we discuss them briefly? Let's see what we're getting. I'm going to go over. You guys know the Kleinleash, the Kragenmoor, of course. The Bruichladdich. The old Pulteney 18. Killer values. Super fun stuff. Really, really high quality cask. You did miss the Ben Nevises. You can come back and look at them. The second fill, much more funky and bold, spirit driven. The first fill, just a sherry monster. So yeah, definitely come back and check out those reviews. I'll post my notes on them in the coming days. We have quite a bit of one of the Ben Nevis, the first fill, which is the one that's selling the most despite the higher price. So just to go over what we're getting, we have the Jamaica Top Pots, the 93 Hamden. That's pretty badass stuff. We have a 13-year-old Port Morant. We have a 23-year-old Coroni, I think is already sold out. 12-year-old Craigellachie for $40. Oh, that was weird old bottled stock. That's why that's such a deal. That's a 2006 12-year-old bottled 4 years ago for $40. What am I thinking? Okay, whatever. A 23-year-old Ben Riach. That's pretty interesting. Oh, those crazy Port Ellens. The Tamdu, I believe you guys already bought every bottle. There was only 12 of those. The Kleinleash, the Kragenmoor, the Bruichladdich, the Pulteney. We can go to the second PO here and tell you exactly what's going to be on. The new Golden Devil blend, cheapo blend. We have an 11-year-old Athrusk in sherry, a 10-year-old Altmore in sherry, both under, what are they? Under $55. A 10-year-old Ben Rinnes for $55, a 13-year-old Ben Rinnes for $60, a 9-year-old Daluin for $39. Those are the, we've got a bunch of the like 200 mLs, just like stocking stuffer stuff. That's pretty fun. We have a cask of Orkney, 15-year-old Orkney, 12-year-old Macduff, a weird old Longmore, and this is a 21-year-old Longmore distilled in 1991. I didn't want to put that on pre-arrival until I actually physically saw that that's what we were getting. So a heads up on that. Not inexpensive, but pretty cool stock. And one of those 32-year-old, what should be Glenfarclas. They call it Spaceside's Finest, 1989. So all of that coming, plus a bunch of these little half bottles of 15-year-old Longmorn, 14-year-old Belmanac, 15-year-old Glenmorangie, and a 9-year-old Daluin. So that's what's hitting. Plus the Dramful stuff is coming. That's pretty cool. No, the second list, Jay, has not hit pre-arrival. They'll just come into regular stock. Excuse me. Lydia, they were telling me would be at the beginning of October, but obviously that's not the case. I'm hoping to get a decent allocation of the Lydia. That's the Saint-Marie Azul Hoven, David Suro bottled. That's all I got for whiskey season, guys. I'm sure there's a bunch of questions that I missed earlier, so if you want to ask them, is now your chance. Did you discuss the LeJuice bottles that dropped a few weeks ago? There were so few of them, there was not really an opportunity to discuss them. We have 2 left, I think. The Crofton Gay is how you're supposed to say it, actually. And the Glenrothes. I bought those totally blind. No samples. It's such a small lot. They just had this stock sitting in France. I thought they seemed pretty cool. They have a good reputation. It's all sold out. Save for these, not even 20 bottles. So, I did open the Crofton Gay, and it was nice. It's the best thing that Loch Lomond's doing. So there you go. Any update on Penelope Toasted coming in? Money, I don't know about that. NorCal got some Penelope. Let me see if I can get some more info. Everybody loves Toasted. Toasted. I see 12 bottles on order. Let me see when they were ordered. So they should be coming. Unless it's an old PO that didn't get processed properly. Alright, checking it out. We will definitely be getting some Great House. Yes, I don't have a good ETA. Maison Villiers is kind of a black box. Like, stuff shows up and we buy it. So, not a whole lot to add. We got 6 toasted. Oh, gosh. These were supposed to come at the end of August. So, I wouldn't hold your breath on the Penelope, guys. But I'll check on it. Yes, big mega Heaven Hill drop. No clue when that's going to come. We're negotiating. If you get my drift. 4 Roses picks coming soon. Yeah, they're supposed to be here any day. 2 barrels. We should get some Knob Creek 18 if we haven't already. NorCal always gets more of the Beam stuff, interestingly. I think we did get some 18 already. Oh, yeah, there was some 18 already shipped. Let me tell you when. Okay, looks like that arrived. Yes, Dodgers. That was tough break. Tough break. And my other team, my wife's, from Cleveland, so the Guardians were looking pretty good for a second. That came back at the very beginning of October. So I haven't received any down here. We should get some of the 18-year when it arrives in SoCal. But you never know. Heaven Hill drop is mostly the regular stuff, the core stuff, like, Henry McKenna and all the stuff that normally we have to buy in bundles. Some Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. It's to go along with, the end of year releases, the Parkers and stuff. So we're trying to, muscle our way into a bigger allocation, but it's not always that straightforward. They probably do the allocations way before they start to hear from us about how we want more product of the core stuff, which is what they're trying to sell us, of course. Then, yeah, that's all. Any other questions, guys, before I move on to today's giveaway? Did Ardbeg Nova come and go? No, Brett, you haven't missed it. You haven't missed it. No ETA exactly. Again, those Ardbeg releases are really confusing because everybody sees the email saying, hey, it's available. That's in Scotland. So that's not going to help us. The Clarendons went on clearance today. What would you recommend for a novice rum guy? Let's see. I would try the 10-year-old Clarendon. It's freaking amazing. Classic, delicious, Jamaica medium ester. Highly recommend. And yeah, there you go. Speaking of Ardbeg, today's giveaway in the theme of Scotch is going to be 6 bottles of Ardcore Committee release. So go ahead and email me at daydrinking@klwines.com. And the question today is, who is the new distillery manager at the wonderful Ardbeg Distillery? New distillery manager, our dear friend, colleague Mickey Head has taken his retirement as he deserves. He's done so much for that brand and that island and everything. What a sweetheart. Brian asked about midwinter. No ETA. Any gold spot on the horizon? I pray to God, Sergio, but it's going to be tough. Will we see any Belekin this year? I heard somebody mention Belekin, but I haven't seen it yet. Big Shanto, shoot me an email. I'll double check on that for you. There might be some available. Any update on possibly snagging a 15-year-old Redwood Empire bale? They told me that they would consider us, so just biding my time. Sam Revius, no high proof. Remus Repeal, yeah, the allocations just came through. It was less than I wanted, so I'm pushing for more. We'll try it out. No Century City store, Brian. Culver City. You're convinced me on the Bunnahabhain. Nice, Ivan. You're going to love that. The sherry or the peated? Probably the sherry for you, huh? I don't remember what Four Roses we chose. I could look it up, but I'm not going to now. If you need the information, I can dig it up. Shoot me an email. But not to day drinking. That's just for the raffles. Don't ask questions at day drinking, guys. I only check that when I'm doing the raffles. If you want to talk to me via email, davidgerard@klwines.com or whiskey@klwines.com works too. That'll go to me and Andrew. If you need immediate assistance, that's the best one. Which Buna? Neck pour. Probably one of these. Monsters. Boom. Buna. This was a really good tasting. That's not Bunnahabhain. What's wrong with me? I guess I've had a little too much. There they are. 2 beautiful Buna babies. All right. What's the email again? daydrinking@klwines.com. daydrinking@klwines.com. Yes, four more Russell's Reserves are intended to be shipping before the end of the year. Are you having to negotiate more with the distributors now? No. No, we actually have less clout than ever because there's a lot of shenanigans going on. We used to have a lot more influence about those sorts of decisions. Now it's very cut and dry. But we have some opportunities here and there. How many people are here only for bourbon and American whiskey? LOL. The majority of the questions. Yeah, the questions are definitely geared toward bourbon. That's always been the case at day drinking. But the crowd is here for it all. I mean, these are good, solid drinkers. Can't wait to open the Buna. Got the sherry and the heavily peated. Awesome news. Chris asks, have you tried the Edredor 21 2011 cast finished? Yeah, I don't think I have. I should open that one. Planning on getting all 3 Octomores this year? Absolutely, Brad. In LA, we will be getting them. I just got the CEO. Did you say the name? Okay, the new CEO. Hilarious. Everybody's going to remember that one. Do you remember anything about the Fucano Ambient Manzanilla Sherry Cask? Yeah. What do you, no description on the site? Is it a rice whiskey? It is rice whiskey. That was a SoCal Whiskey Club pick. I didn't really pick that. Any chance on the Bunnahabhain Cask Strength 12? No, but I have a Cask Strength 11, 10-year-old right here. We don't do much with the Bunnahabhain distillery stuff right now. It's really hard to get. Is it even Japanese? Yes, it is. It's Japanese rice whiskey, or they would call it sochu. Harley Davidson, boy, I'm unfortunately not going to invite you to share my screen. I've been loving the old 21-year-old Bunnahabhain Fault Line. Ooh, that was a special one. Good stuff, Michael. Safe to say Le Jus Glenfarclas song coming soon isn't true? That seems likely, yeah. That sounds like a mistake. Sorry about that. I'll have to check into that. Anyway, guys, I'm going to bounce. Email daydrinking@klwines.com with the name of the new distillery manager at our beg for a chance to purchase a bottle of the Ardcore committee release. Oh, Pablo's here. Hey, Pablo. Can't wait for the second batch. Any day now, right? Appreciate all the info, Dave. Great show. Thanks, Jay. It's been real. See you around, Brett. Thanks, guys. Take her easy.